Smack 'em on Cobb, everybody. Hey, I got me another killer track by track album battle from Paul Enciso. Paul always has some really good ones, man. Well, you know, I gotta say everybody does, but Paul's a little more on the heavy, thrashier side. And I want to read you what Paul sent me with the donation because it's interesting. It's an interesting thing, and I'd like to talk about it. He said that, you know, Motorhead's Eddie Clark is one of his most absolute loud rock and roll examples. And I agree. And then he said about Show No Mercy, he said, the first Slayer album I ever bought in late 84. Now let me stop right there. You know, it wasn't until, I think like last year, I realized Show No Mercy came out in 1983. I always thought it was a 1984 album because of Paul, because like Paul, I don't know if it was late 84, but I know I bought it maybe the summer of 84, or maybe it was late 84. I know I bought it in 84 because Open Books, the record store down here that had all the killer shit, was gone before 84. I mean, was gone after 84. So, and I bought Show No Mercy there. And it was, I don't know. All I know is that I always thought it was a 1984 album. And here it is. It's December 83. I mean, it's late 83. But anyway. He says he loves the Young Slayer stuff. Show No Mercy until South of Heaven. I'm not a fan of Seasons in the Abyss through their later stuff. I'm giving the slightest nod to Overkill on this one. Well, I will give the nod to Overkill, but I will also say, man, I love Seasons in the Abyss. That's where I stopped. You know, I didn't stop at South of Heaven. After Seasons in the Abyss, they lost me. And seriously, a lot of people would say Divine Intervention, this and that. I think the best thing they ever did after Seasons in the Abyss was World Painted Blood. Seriously, that's the only one I liked, really. But I don't think it's nowhere near anything up to Seasons in the Abyss. But, you know, Paul, it's interesting that Paul goes all the way up to South of Heaven because I know many people that just go up to Rain and Blood. You know, there's those people out there, and I gotta bring up the people that just wanna be different. You know, they say stuff like, Rain and Blood's overrated. I don't like Rain and Blood. It's like, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. How can you not like Rain and Blood? I mean, if you're into Slayer, you know, it's just fucking ridiculous. And one thing I will say about Rain and Blood is not good to listen to one song off the album. You have to listen to the full 28 minutes. It's like one long metal fucking song, you know? It's historic. And I will say, my favorite Slayer is the Metal Blade years. But at the same time, Rain and Blood is really their greatest album. You know, even though I prefer Show No Mercy, Hell Awaits, and Haunting the Chapel, my favorite, over it, I still gotta say, it's the best. It's like there's a lot of bands in my world, like my favorite band of all time is 80s Merciful Fate and 70s Black Sabbath. But I think the Beatles were the best band ever. They're not my favorite, but they were the best. And that's how I feel about Rain and Blood. Rain and Blood is the best Slayer album, but not my favorite. Does that make sense? I hope it does. But anyway, and also, for those that keep up with my channel, you know, yesterday, or I know the last donation I got from Van Whalen that wanted me to put Show No Mercy versus Killing Is My Business. So here we got back-to-back Show No Mercy donations, you know? And those that saw it yesterday, Killing Is My Business didn't really stand a chance. Really. And I love Killing Is My Business. And it was close. I'm not saying it blew it away, but, you know, Slayer won. But in this case, see, here's the thing, man. Overkill from Motorhead has always been my favorite Motorhead album. Hands down. Oh, a studio album. Because my favorite Motorhead album is No Sleep Till Hammersmith, the first Motorhead album I ever owned. And a little side note about Motorhead, I saw the very first Motorhead concert in Miami. At the Miami Baseball Stadium. It was Heart, Blue Oyster Cult, I know there was another band, an Air band, and Motorhead opened the day. And that day, I'm sorry I'm going through this long story, but y'all like my stories, right? If you don't, please leave it in the comments below, and I'll refrain from my stories. But just to let you know, the week of that show, I was going to the show anyway because I love Blue Oyster Cult and Heart. I was going anyway. I know Motorhead was announced. I didn't know what Motorhead was like. But that week on the radio, they gave a commercial for the Ace of Spades album, the new Motorhead album. Ace of Spades, see them at the Miami Baseball Stadium, opening for Hard Blue Skull. And when they played that commercial, they played a snippet of the song Ace of Spades. First time I ever heard Motorhead was like a 15-second, clip of a song. And I told all my friends, we got to get there early. That band Motorhead sounds heavy and crazy, in that little commercial. And yeah, we got there early. And I saw the very first Motorhead show in America. And oddly enough, I saw the very last Motorhead show in America, which was Pompano Beach. After that, they went to Europe and played shows. And then, Lemmy came back and died. But it's weird. I saw the very first and the very last. And I saw Motorhead a bunch of times in between, like when they opened for Slayer on the South of Heaven tour. It was Slayer, Motorhead, and Overkill. That was a lethal show. But anyway, all right, so, wait, and I'm not finished with the Motorhead story. So after I saw Motorhead, they blew my mind, right? And I needed to buy the album Ace of Spades. And I couldn't find it anywhere, and, I didn't know no mail order bullshit, but I would search for that Motorhead album every time I went to record stores, no luck. Then fast forward like maybe 6 months after that, maybe even longer, I go to this place that, they sell some rock records, but not known for metal albums. They had Motorhead, No Sleep Till Hammersmith there. I was like, oh my God, Motorhead, finally I got a Motorhead album. And I actually got the greatest Motorhead album. I love the hell out of that fucking album. So raw and so killer. And it wasn't until decades, like maybe 30 years, over 30 years later, I found out through Ian Wadley, my co-host on the Rock and Metal Combat podcast, that show was not from Hammersmith. I was like, what? Crazy, huh? Live albums. And it doesn't matter. You see, that's the thing. A lot of people get bitch about, well, live album, that's touched up in the studio. Yeah. I love live albums touched up in the studio. I don't know if no Sleep Till Hammersmith. I don't know, but I know it's not Hammersmith, But, Judas Priest, Unleash the East, Kiss Alive, UFO, fucking Stranger Than the Night. I can go on and on. Cheap Trick at Budokan's touched up. All the greatest live albums in my world are touched up. And now I'm stopping the talking, and we're going to go into the track by track. And we start with the song Overkill. Against Evil Has No Boundaries. Oh, that hurts. I'm going to have to go with Overkill. But that hurts. My band Thrash and I covered Evil Has No Boundaries. And you can see it here on YouTube. All right, next. Stay Clean versus Antichrist, the Antichrist. Wow, that one's super hard. And I'm only because of the bass solo, I'm giving it to Stay Clean. That bass solo part is so iconic. The rest of the song rules as well. And I'm so happy that every time I've seen Motorhead, they always played Stay Clean. And usually the second song. Alright, next. I Won't Pay Your Price versus Die by the Sword. They're both awesome, but Slayer takes that one. Because if you live, fuck the pen. Alright? Just fuck the pen. Alright, next. I'll Be Your Sister versus Fight Till Death. Again, both awesome. This one hurts, I gotta admit. I gotta give it to Slayer. And I love I'll Be Your Sister. I gotta give that one to Slayer. Alright, next. Capricorn versus Metal Storm. Face the Slayer. Yeah. This one hurts as well, but it's not even close in my opinion. Capricorn. That song, man. Just rules. It just rules. Alright, next. No Class versus Black Magic. Man, that hurts. This one hurts. You know, either one I pick, an awesome song is losing. I'm going to give it to Black Magic, man. Black Magic, man. Yeah, Black Magic takes that one. Alright, next. Damage Case versus Tormentor. You know what I love about Tormentor? And really Show No Mercy in general. But, you know, Tormentor has it all. Slayer would never be like this again. Even after this album. They don't have songs like Tormentor and Cryonics and Final Command after, you know, this album. But I'm gonna have to go with Damage Case. Totally gotta give it a Damage Case. And now I'm gonna go into a Metallica rant. Something I usually don't do because Metallica is too trendy to bash on. And I'm not one of those, you know, oh, I gotta bash on Metallica. Even though they released a lot of crap in my opinion. But I'm always gonna respect them, especially for those first 3 albums. And I loved Hardwired. Everything else can kiss my ass. Oh, Blacken was good off of Injustice for All. But, my God, the cover they did of Damage Case. And what was the other one? I think it was Too Late, and was it Overkill? I can't remember. All I know is they did a bunch of fucking Motorhead covers, and they were all fucking horrible. Horrible. That was during the load part. During the load part, they were really crappy in my opinion. Whoa, I understand the backlash, but Jesus Christ, it's been 30 years, you know? But whatever. Hey, you all keep on bashing on Metallica. You know, it's trendy. Do it. Metallica is like Nickelback and who else? Taylor Swift. Whatever's trendy to bash on, Metallica's right there with them. And why? Well, mainly because they sell out stadiums today, and that pisses people off. You know? But yeah, what can you do? But yeah, the Metallica cover of Damage Case and all the other ones sounds like Millionaires trying to rock. It does not translate. You need some motherfucking fucked up speed freaks like Lemmy, Fast Eddie Clark, and Filthy Animal Taylor to make those songs sound right. So yeah, Damage Case wins that one. Next, Tear You Down versus The Final Command. Again, what I was saying about Tormentor, The Final Command, these are songs that Slayer would never... Because there's a lot of songs that you hear, on, even on Hell Awaits, that you can hear them on Rain and Blood and Show No Mercy. You know, I can hear them, you know, but not these songs, you know. They're a little, they became a little more cutthroat after Show No Mercy. And believe me, they're cutting a lot of throats on this album. I'm going to have to give it to The Final Command. I love that song, man. It's an awesome tune. All right, next. Oh, this hurts. Metropolis versus Cryonics. Man. And then Metropolis, another song that Motorhead always played live when I saw him. I was so happy for that. God, it's one of my favorite Motorhead songs, and yet Cryonics is my favorite Slayer song out of all their albums. That's my favorite song. I'm giving it to Cryonics. All right, now we got the last one, which is Limb from Limb versus Show No Mercy. All right. Both awesome. Both kind of deep tracks, even though it's a title track. It's kind of a deep track on here. I'm going with Limb from Limb. I'm going to give that one to Motorhead. So, Paul and Enciso, this is a final score. And look at that, man. 5-5. It's a tie. They're both just too badass. They couldn't lose. Neither album can lose. That's why it's a tie. So thank you so much, Paul and Enciso. I hope you enjoyed this track by track. And I hope you didn't mind me just going off and talking about a bunch of crap, man. Fuck it. You know, I think that's a good thing, right, everybody? If not, let me know in the comments below. And thank you so much, again, Paul and everybody for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't and ring that little notification bell. And like the video. It's good for the YouTube algorithms. So stay frosty. Listen to Black Sabbath and smack 'em a cup.